we're going to do that wanking away there today. It's time, my friends, for part 2 of why it is that you really need to learn the F chord today. Actually, it's 2 huge reasons why you really need to learn the F chord. And this is part 2. It's okay if you didn't catch part 1. This is part 2 today, where I will literally be showing you the 100+ chords that you will be able to play after you master the F chord. Now, I'm going to go over those 2 huge reasons really quickly. I did it yesterday, and basically what we did yesterday is we broke the chord down. So this is what we're going to be covering today. I'm going to just tell you some basics before we get started here. So, number 1, the F chord, people don't like the F chord because it's a bar chord. It's an introduction to a first chord that you're actually going to be using quite a bit. See, when you play songs in the key of G, you've got things like G, D, C, E minor, A minor. And most folks can play those, right? That's part of the 9 essential chords that I'm always talking about that I'm giving you in the free course, okay? But now, folks say, well, we could capo, right? If I grab this capo here, we could capo up the neck, and we could do more, more keys using the same forms, G, D, C, A minor, E minor. We could do this with the capo and play in all sorts of different keys. But truth be told, once we get past the 5th fret, things start getting cramped, and the guitars start sounding less like a guitar and a little bit more like a ukulele, because the register, just like a bass guitar doesn't sound like a regular guitar because of its register. It's very low. It's an octave lower than the low 4 strings on a guitar. So because of that, learning the F chord will allow us to play in the key of C, because the key of C has a C, has a G, has a D minor, has an A minor, has an E minor. So very similar to the key of G, with the exception of the D to D minor there. But there's one chord that's really essential in the key of C. It's the F. Okay? And so what this does is, if we learn the F chord, it allows us to now play in a C position, okay? What we mean by C position is we're playing all those forms down here, but we can use the capo to move up and down the fretboard in order to change keys. So number 1, that's the number 1 reason, is now you'll be able to play in the key of C, and it will literally unlock thousands of songs for you, because out of the 2 keys that are played the most on the guitar, it's G and C. And if you know how to use your capo, you literally can get by with knowing 9 essential chords, but that F chord is truly going to make things even better for you. Okay, literally thousands of new songs. Now, the part that and that's what we talked about yesterday. The part that I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you how this one F chord form, okay? It's okay if you don't play it today. 100% okay. I know you're going to have questions about it, and I'll direct you to some other videos that I have, since I taught it yesterday. Won't be teaching you how to play the F chord today. We did that yesterday. But I'll point you to some videos that do cover that. But what I am going to show you is I'm going to show you how this F chord form, if you tweak little things on it, it will literally provide 100+ new chords. Okay, I say 100+, because we could do 120, we could do 136, we could do lots of different versions of this. Okay, but we'll see what we can get to today. Okay, Instagram's joining us, Facebook and YouTube's joining us. Hey, friends on Instagram, join us on Facebook and YouTube if you want your questions answered later on, and if you want to access the PDF. What PDF are you talking about, Eric? Friends on YouTube and Facebook. There's a link in the description of the video. Click on that. That will get you the PDF that we're talking about today. It's really important that you download that, because I'm going to be giving you lots of information in this time. And although I'll be going slow, I'll be giving you lots of information, okay? It's hard to please everybody at the same time, so this PDF is going to help you if I'm going too fast, okay? It's going to teach you a lot of bits and pieces, and we're going to be looking at the bar chord forms that are near the end of that PDF, okay? Excellent. Okay, so we'll be doing that today. I'll be teaching you that. I'll be taking your questions afterwards. This broadcast will probably go about an hour and a half, including the 10 minutes already. And the other thing is, I'm giving a lifetime membership away to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365 Guitar Plan. How do you win that, Eric? Easily. Share this video And then after the broadcast, Chris, my cohort in crime, will actually find somebody who randomly picks somebody who has shared it, and voila, you're literally going to get a course that we've sold for $400 for years now, plus 365 guitar plan, which is an $80 program. So you're literally getting like a $500 program, bam, just like that. Okay, what else? Anything else? Oh, this guitar right here, this 1993 Gibson, what is it? It's a Les Paul special, owned by Michael Spriggs, session guitar player here in Nashville, very well known, played on many, many records, millions of records. And Laser Lloyd, who's a legendary blues artist. I bought this from Gruen Guitar just a few weeks ago. Chris went down there with me, and we got this, and it's a beautiful guitar, plays amazingly, and it sounds amazing, and I really don't want to get rid of it, but I will be getting rid of it this Saturday. Write this down on your calendar, friends. August 25th, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Facebook and YouTube. I'll be giving this guitar away along with a suite of Dan Electro pedals, tuner, a bunch of other stuff, okay? Nonetheless, the grand prize package is going to be over $2,000 because you're gonna have this beautiful Les Paul special along with Unstoppable Guitar System, 365 guitar plan. That's what the grand prize is, and pedals and a bunch of other stuff, t-shirts and that sort of thing. Okay, that. And we'll be giving away 10 lifetime memberships to the Unstoppable Guitar System, all right? As we get more people to join, I want your chances to be really good. So literally, we're giving away over $6,000 worth of goodies away this Saturday, 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. How do you join that? The link's in the description of the video. It's YourGuitarSage.com/live. Literally register for it. It's super easy. It'll take you 5 seconds to register for it. Boom, you're registered into the contest. I'll see you on Saturday, okay? So, here we go. And by the way, what I'm going to be talking about there is how to maximize your practice in the 4 most important areas of guitar, okay? Very, very important. I'll have a PDF for you for that as well. Okay, lesson time begins. Now, let's go. So, by now, you should have downloaded the PDF. Click on the link that's in the video and go to the chapter that says bar chords, I believe. Yeah, bar chords. And in this, you're going to see links and that sort of thing for more supplemental information, more videos, all sorts of stuff for you. So there's 2 links there to some videos that will drill down even further than what I'm doing today. Okay, now, anything else? I don't think so. So, if you haven't already, share it now, and here we go with the lesson, my friends. I'm going to bring up a different patch here. Okay, so, yesterday we talked about this F chord, and today what I'm going to be doing is showing you how we can derive at least 120 new chords from this, okay? Now, you think that that's going to be a lot to memorize, but it's not. Because literally, how many chords you're going to need to memorize today is 10 chords. And when I say memorize, you've got the F chord. You pretty much know that one already. Even if you can't play it, you know what it looks like, right? Chances are. If you don't, it's okay. Everybody's at a different place. Everybody has to start at the beginning. We're all equal. Doesn't matter. But with this F chord, what I'm going to show you is little tweaks, and I'm going to remind you, I'm going to give you reminders and tricks to memorize this. And literally, the only thing you'll have to memorize is these 10 chords, which aren't going to be a problem for you, and I'll show you why. Just trust me. 10 times the 12 different keys. So we could take any one of these bar chords and move it up the fretboard, and we get 12, we get all 12 keys. There are 12 keys in the musical alphabet, okay? So 10 times 12 is 120, okay? It's kind of like the 5-12 method that I talk about. This is the 10-12 method, so we got even more stuff to talk about, okay? So here we go, and we're going to be doing a lot of close-ups on this because it's really important, okay? I need you guys to see this. So let's take a look at this F chord here. If you don't know where this is at, it is the first chord under 6th string root bar chords that you're going to find on your PDF. It's the first one. It says major. It's the one on the left. That's where you want to go first, okay? So we got We got our nice F chord there, right? Now, if we want to, and you can bring that in even tighter, Chris, on this F chord here, this is what we're going to be doing. Here are the tweaks. Have you ever played an E major and an E minor, right? E major, E minor, and you notice the only finger that changes is this guy. It's that first finger. Well, we can literally take that model and duplicate it all across the neck and get the same chords. So we got major. If we lift this finger up, we'll get minor. And we're basically playing that third string on the first fret instead of the second fret. This is the second fret. Now I'm playing it on the first fret because it's being barred by this first fret. Okay. Now, don't worry if you can't play the chord yet. It's not about being able to play the chords. Right now we're just talking about the shapes, and we want to understand these shapes, okay? All the shapes I'm telling you right now are in the PDF that you can find attached in the description of the video. So, here's an F. We can make that an F minor by just doing that. Okay? Have you ever played an E7 chord? You have if you've played Folsom Prison Blues, right? That one chord there right before. So here's an E. That's E major. Here is E7, also known. So what I'm doing is I'm just lifting my ring finger up. By the way, you don't need to memorize any of this right now. It's in your PDF. Just work along with me here. This will make sense, okay? Here's E major. If I lift this one ring finger up, it's the only thing I got to do, it becomes a 7th chord. Okay, we won't get into the theory today on that. Too much is going to confuse you. So here's an E major, here's an E7. Okay, and we literally can take any one of these chords and move it up the fretboard 12 frets and get 12 different keys. So that's why I'm only going to be showing you 10 positions, because 10 times 12 is 120. Here we go. Here's F major. We move this second finger off, we get minor. We put it on again. Now we're going to need to lift the pinky up because we have a different fingering here than we did for the E major. So here's F. Now if I lift that pinky up, there's our 7th. But Eric, I can't play this. Remember I said you don't need to play it right now. Don't worry about playing it. Just understand how it sits here. Nobody plays this chord at first. No one. Eddie Van Halen to Jimi Hendrix. No one played it at first. So why would you expect that you could? I sure didn't. You know, it's going to take time. It takes time and practice and watching my videos on how to fret and the bar chords. So here's a 7th, also known as a dominant 7th chord. We can take this one, move it up the fretboard 12 different times. That's 36 chords already. Okay? If you don't know the names of the notes on the 6th string and the 5th string, I cover that in the free course that you'll find in the link in the description of the video, YourGuitarSage.com/30. If you don't have a pen out right now, you should. A pen or pencil or a crayon, a magic marker, something. You need to be writing some stuff down, friends. A tablet and papyrus, you know, really anything will do. All right, so here is, we said the F chord, there's the F minor, here's the F7. Okay, these are easy to remember because of little tweaks that we're doing. Now watch this. We said this was the minor chord, the F minor chord. If we lift our first finger or second finger up, right? Just like this is E major, this is E minor, lifting that first finger off of the 3rd string. Here, we play the F, we're lifting the 2nd finger off of the 3rd string. And then we get our F minor chord. Cool, cool. Now, remember the pinky that we lifted up for the 7th chord? Sure you did, we just did it. For the dominant 7th chord, we lifted this pinky up. Remember, it did something like that? Well, what happens if we start off with this minor chord and then we lift the pinky up? Ooh, what happens, Eric? Tell us. We're waiting with bated breath. Okay, I'll tell you. It becomes a minor 7 chord. So just like this was a 7 chord, this is a minor, and we have the 7, It's called the minor 7 chord. Super easy. It can be played like that, all the way up the neck. You could also play it like the jazzers do, like this, where they just cut out that 5th note there, put the 2nd finger on the root, and they bar the bottom 3 or 4 strings with that ring finger. That's a bit of an advanced move, so if you can't do it right now, don't worry, okay? So we have major, we've got minor, we've got dominant 7th, also known as 7th, and we have minor 7th, okay? Now, we can do several other tweaks, but we're only going to be worrying about a few today, because if I give you too much, you're going to be overwhelmed, okay? So, we got that. Let me see another one that we can do that would be fairly easy. Let's do the suspended chord, because really, these are the chords you're going to be using the most. Major, minor, minor 7th, dominant 7th, and suspended, okay? So that's what we're going to be doing. Now, to suspend a chord, here's the rule. The 3 needs to go up a half step. Here's the 3. How do I know that's the 3, Eric? Either you know it or you don't know it right now. If you don't know it, then I'll show it to you. It's in the free program I'm giving to you. But there's some basics that you're going to have to know in order for us to fly through this stuff, right? So this is the 3 of the chord. What that means, it's the 3 of the scale. 1, 2, 3. That's an A, and this is an octave up. It's a 3. It's okay if you don't understand that, but that's the one note that makes it major or minor. It's also the one note that makes it suspended. So here's major, here's minor, going down a half step, here's major again. And if we raise this note up 1/2 step to be at the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, instead of the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, the 3rd fret of the 3rd string, then we get, that's suspended. That one can be a booger a little bit, just like it's a matter of hyperextending that finger, and I cover that in the bar chord videos that are in the PDF that I'm giving you right now, okay? So, right there we have a suspended chord, and I'm barring strings 5, 4, and 3 at the 3rd fret, and I'm barring everything else on the 1st fret. This one takes some time to get to know, my friends, okay? But again, like I say, there's two ways, or 2 things we got to learn to play a chord. We got to know what the chord looks like before we do anything. You can't play the chord if you don't know what it looks like. So knowing what it looks like on the fretboard's the first most important thing. Then it's being able to play it, okay? Because you're not going to, you might play the chord like this as a suspended chord, which is real easy to play, or like this. Or, not that I would ever play that. But nonetheless, you don't have to play every note in a chord for it to be useful, okay? Now, my friends, I just showed you 5. I showed you major, dominant 7th, minor, minor 7th, and suspended. 5 times 12 is what, my friends? 60. So we got 60 chords starting on the 6th string root. Now we're going to move to the 5th string root using the same exact form. Now, don't worry. I know I'm giving a lot to you right now. I'm hooking you up to the fire hose because I love to give you lots of stuff so you can go home and work it. But that's what the PDF is for. No one watching this where this is a new bit to them is going to get this. No one is, okay? So, that's what the PDF's for. Take your time with it, okay? Slow and steady wins the race at guitar, always. Now, watch this. I'm going to show you something magical. I promised you that if you learn this form, okay, which you're probably still doing right now, it's totally okay, but I said that if you learn this one form, you'll be able to derive 100 plus chords from it. Well, we're at 60 so far, so let's see if we can get another 60 out here. Now, watch this. We take this one form right here. Every single note is literally going to go down one string and this top 6th string here is going to be muted, a muted note, okay? Muted or choked, it means you either don't play it or you're using some part of your body to mute it. Don't get weird. Your hand will do, okay? So here we go. Here's the F. And there it is, right? Now, if we take this little guy right here and we drop it down, watch this. Watch how difficult this is. Right there. Easy, right? Watch this. That's all we're doing. We're literally taking that whole form and dropping it down without moving our fingers. We don't have to really, what I mean by we're not doing this, okay? We're just moving that form down one string. Now, what does that do for us here? Well, number one, it's opening up the B minor chord for you now, which is yet another chord in the key of G minor, or G major. So now we can play a B minor chord. You can play that beautiful 3 minor chord that happens every now and then in a G major chord, or G major key. So not only do we have that, but again, friends, because you took the time to finally learn this F chord form, and I know some of you I'm speaking into the future here because you haven't done it yet. It's okay. You're going to be fine. I'm going to guide you through it. Then you got this guy here, that same form, but we're just moving it down a string and up a fret in this case, but we could keep it right there to B flat minor too. So I'm going to put it here just for easy. I'll tell you what, let's put it at the 5th fret here, okay? This is a D minor. How do I know that? Because this is the D note based off of the 5th string root. If you don't know how to grab that, then you need to grab the free course that I'm giving you today, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Otherwise, you are not going to know how to do this. The link's in the description of the video, so you don't have to memorize. When I'm throwing out these URLs to you today, it's to supplement you, it's to help you, okay? Some people say, I hate when he refers me to other videos. Well, I don't have to. This could be a 10-hour lesson, but chances are you're not going to survive, okay? So I have to give these other supplements to you so that you can go and further investigate this stuff and get better and better, right? There's a lot of materials. Unstoppable Guitar System has nearly 1,000 videos in it, okay? So there's some things to learn about guitar. That's just scratching the surface of guitar, okay? So here we are. This is at the D minor, okay? Now here we go. Let's see if we can derive 5 new chords from this, because remember, 5 times 12 is 60, and that gives us 120 chords, okay? We'll get to questions in just a minute. Here we go. So we got our D minor. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking my first finger and I'm bumping it up against that 1st string so it's muted, okay? If I didn't, you'd hear it sound out, and that sounds a little bit like poo-poo, so we just don't want that, okay? So we're going to take our 1st finger, bump it up against that 6th string, and now we got a nice D minor chord, okay? So D minor is our 1st chord we're going to start off with. Now, similarly to what we did before, if we lift this pinky up, okay? Oh, by the way, I know some of you are like, well, why is this a minor chord and this is a major chord? Okay, I know some of you are asking that right now. And it has to do with the tuning of the B string, okay? Don't worry about it yet. Just understand that the B string is tuned unlike the other strings on the guitar. And because of that, it allows us to play a slew of different things, okay? So for right now, just understand that B string is tuned differently, and that's why this is major and this is minor. Okay, it's because that string is tuned down a half step, and we have to look at it differently. Okay, so and you can here's how to remember this. Remember, I told you I'd give you some tricks to remembering this. This is an A minor chord, isn't it? Sure. This is an E major, isn't it? Well, this is major, and I'm using the same fingering, but just moving down, right? They should be the same, right? Nope, because of that B string. So here's major, E major, here's B minor. So you know that finger being behind these two guys makes it minor. So same thing here. Here are those 2 fingers, and this guy's behind it. Okay, if it were here, it'd be major. So we'll cover that in a minute. So here we go. Here's our D minor chord. This is covered in that PDF there, so you don't have to memorize any of these, okay? But I can tell you where this one's located. It's located on those chords. Let's see. Once the chord forms start appearing on that PDF, we'll count that as page 1, 2, 3, and there is a 4th page, and it's going to start on that 4th page. Okay, it's going to say minus or minor. Okay, so here we go. So here's D minor. Okay, now we can easily make this a 7th chord, just like we did before, by lifting that pinky up. Again, doesn't matter if you can't play it right now. I just need you to understand how the chord looks. It'll take some time to get to playing it. Okay, now we're going to lift the pinky up. See that guy back here? That's a 7th. Okay, so this chord is known as a minor 7th chord. Here's minor. Lift the pinky up, minor 7. Cool, cool. All right, so now, remember that's 2 chords. We just need to come up with 5 chords because 5 times 12 is 60. We came up with 60 before. That gives us 120 chords. So we got 2 chords so far. We got minor. We got minor 7. Now let's look at the major chord. Now this one could be a little bit tricky because we have to hyperextend this finger. I won't go into all the details behind that because I have other videos for you, 2 of them attached in this PDF, and then of course the free course, which is going to teach you all about the basics. And I say the basics, you're going to use them all day long. Okay, they're basic because you have to have them. If you don't know them, it's going to mess up all the playing that you do, advanced or otherwise. So this hyperextension here I cover in those videos. Okay, so what we're doing here is instead of playing the 6th fret, we're playing the 7th fret of the 2nd string, but we're doing that by barring. And I'm basically hyperextending here. I've got my finger, let's see if I can show you this. I've got my finger bent back like that, okay? This finger, it's bent back. You see how there's a little bit of an arch right here in this part of my finger? That arch, because it's pressing that way, allows me to get in there and play that chord better. If I was playing it flat, so let's say my finger was like, let's see, it's hard to do this. Like, okay, so if it were just flat like that, but it needs to be bent back a little bit. And so the way you do that is you put the pressure right there on that pad, and then it automatically bends the rest of the finger back. I said I wasn't going to show you that, and I just did. So, and that creates a major chord, okay? It's in the PDF. If we wanted to make this a 7th chord, we do the same thing that we did with the minor 7th, except we need to have this pinky right up here. So instead of barring this whole thing, we're going to put the 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the 4th string, and we're going to put our pinky on the 7th fret of the 2nd string, and we're going to bar strings 5 through 1. That is a dominant 7th chord, okay? Used a lot. I'm going to give you a bonus here today too. Let's do this. We're going to do 140 chords today. So here's our dominant 7th chord. If we just take this pinky and we go up a half step, now we get an 11th chord. Okay? This is covered in that PDF. Really nice sounding chord. And then the last one is the suspended chord, and basically you're just going to have that major chord, and you're going to put your pinky right here on the 8th fret of the 2nd string. Now, I'm telling you, my friends, you're going to definitely have some issues with this at first, with the fingering part of it, okay? You're going to really have some issues with it. You're going to curse the guitar. You're going to think, I suck at guitar. I don't have the right fingers. My fingers are too fat. My fingers are too short. My hands are too small, etc., etc., etc. How do I know these things? Because I've been doing this a little while, and I've heard it from every single guitar player who I've ever taught in the beginning. That's what they say. And I get it all the time in comments and stuff in my videos. It's not you. It's the guitar, okay? Guitar is not easy. It's not like you can walk. It's not like a piano where you can walk up to it and play a very complex chord or a simple chord right off the bat. Can't do that with guitar. There are nuances that are a lot more, that require a lot more dexterity than just going up to a piano and playing, okay? Not to say that piano it's a whole other instrument in of itself. We're not putting the piano down. I'm just saying, to start off, the piano's not easy, okay? Just like for the same reason, violin's going to be more difficult than ukulele in the beginning, okay? So, you're going to have problems with this. You're going to curse it. You're going to get frustrated, the whole 9 yards. Let me tell you how to not do that, which is going to keep you in the game, and then we're going to get to some questions. Here's a couple things to remember. Has zero to do with talent. If you haven't watched my video on this already, or you need to read it, I believe it's in this PDF as well. It's not about talent. Otherwise, we'd have 3- and 4-year-olds playing as well as Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen. It's never happened since the beginning of time. If you have one, show it to me, and I'll stop saying that it's about practice, and I'll say, you are right, it's all about talent. Okay, but until that time, until you show me a 3- or 4-year-old playing as well as Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, or the greats, okay, then I will stand firm with saying that it has everything to do with practice. Another reason I know this is because I've seen quote-unquote talented musicians come into my studio, really obviously smart, gifted, into the 4s and 5s in their GPA, between that 4 and 5 range. I've had savants. I've had all sorts of different brains inside of my studio. And without a shadow of a doubt, the only thing that makes difference is if they practice or not. The only difference, okay? And I've taught thousands of lessons. So either all these thousands of lessons have come to me, and I just so happen to never find someone who was born talented at the guitar, or you just don't get talented at the guitar by being born. You've got to practice into it, okay? Enough with the preaching. But I'm telling you this to help you, because if you're one of those people that believe that you are not talented, or I should say this, if you believe that you're one of those people that can't play guitar because of this or that or the other thing, and I'm not making fun of you, but I'm going to send you a link. I said it yesterday. I'm going to send you a link of a guy who has no arms, born with no arms, playing on the street, playing guitar, flat on the ground, playing chords, melodies, singing without any arms. So, if you have 0 arms, there's still no excuse for you. If you have at least a finger, then you're way ahead of this guy. So, no more bitching. Let's do this thing. You want to get good at guitar? It's time to get serious. Otherwise, don't get serious. But then don't waste your time watching videos, right? Let's be serious about it, and let's be focused. Let's have our goal in mind and go after it. That's what we're doing today. Okay, I'm done preaching. Now I'm going to pass the offering plate. No. Okay, done with that. Let's get to some questions. And by the way, folks, for those that have just joined us, by the way, thank you, Instagram, for hanging in there with us. I'm getting ready to go to questions now, so go to Facebook or YouTube if you want me to answer your questions. Okay, and I believe that works on mobile. At least the YouTube part does. Maybe not the Facebook. I don't know. Nonetheless, Facebook does too. Sure. So join us there if you want your questions answered. Going to do it now. For those that are wondering what PDF is he talking about, it's because you weren't here in the beginning, or you didn't hear me the 10 times I said there's a PDF for you in the description of the video. Go there, click on it, download it now. It's important that you have it. Okay, for after this broadcast. Okay, now without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get into some questions. Okay, let's do this. Yesterday I started on YouTube. Today I'm going to start on Facebook. Okay, here we go. Playing guitar should be a passion. Talent is wonderful, but practice makes perfect. Question mark? Scott, practice is the only thing. Again, talent would mean that in my opinion of it, talent, it's like something that you're born with, right? Oh, he's so talented. He doesn't have to practice. Nah, he doesn't have to practice. He's talented. He comes from a musical family. He's got long fingers. You could give me someone from the most musical family in the world with the biggest guitars, the best guitars, most expensive guitars, and the longest, lankiest little fingers, and I'm telling you, they're going to suck as much as anybody who was not born into a musical family who had fat fingers, short hands, this, that, and the other thing. It has nothing to do with that. So Scott, the question mark, I just answered it for you. It's all about practice, okay? If it was easy, everybody would be good. That's indeed true, Sean. Yes, exactly. That's why us here, it's like we're champions, right? We're warriors. We're not going to sit there and tolerate mediocrity. We're going to get something good out of our playing. We're going to push ourselves to be the best players we can be. That's what it takes. Do we think that Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen or any of these guys, do we think that they didn't practice a lot, that they didn't practice when everybody else was out partying, doing all these things? Yeah, they were. They were practicing all the time, okay? That's why a lot of musicians are introverts. Okay, I'm scanning on Facebook. Oh, thank you everybody for sharing, by the way. And those who share will be eligible for a lifetime membership to UGS 365. Oh, I love this. It's not a lie. It might be a gross overstatement, but I promise to strive for life to get there. Love it, Scott. Man, I love that when folks get out there and they promise something. And they say, hey, I'm going to do this, because it's drawing a line in the sand saying I'm not screwing around at this anymore. I'm getting serious, okay? All right, I'm scanning. I'm not seeing any questions. By the way, folks, please put a question mark. I'm not looking on YouTube yet, so hang out there a minute before you throw those questions out there. No questions. Okay, so no questions that I'm seeing there on Facebook. Going to the top again. Okay, none on Facebook. So I'm bumping over to YouTube right now. Please put a question mark, because there's so many questions and they're moving quickly that I need to be able to see that question mark. I'm not going to read every single hundreds and hundreds of comments, right? Singing requires talent, or can anybody become a good singer with lots and lots of practice? Rihan, singing does not require talent at all, okay? Let me say this. Now listen to me before everybody gets their panties in a wad. Singing does not require talent any more than guitar requires talent. There are some folks that, yes, at an early age, they're singing because they're very passionate about it. Maybe they're growing up in a house where a lot of people are singing. If you're around a household where everybody's playing video games, you'll probably play video games, and all of a sudden, because you're around people playing video games and now you're playing video games, you'll get talented. Same thing with singing. Now, is it true that we're born with the voice that we're born with? To some degree. You're born with the vocal cords that you're born with, but you're also born with the muscles that you're born with. And if you were to work your right arm out every single day and leave the left arm, this right arm would get huge and this left arm would stay the same. Don't believe me? Look at some of these arm wrestlers. They've got these arms that are literally bigger than their other arm. So indeed, it's very, very important that you understand that you can sing as well. Now, yes, you have your own vocal cords, but they can be developed. And what I mean by that is they can be developed in the way that you sing. Just like if I'm talking like this all the time or talking like this all the time, there's different ways that you can place your voice to make it brighter or darker, to extend your range, to come up with vibrato, intonation, etc. Those things, those handful of things makes a good voice, okay? A couple other little things in there, but that's it. It's all about practice, okay? All right, great question, by the way. Okay, so now I'm gonna zing up a little bit here because I've gotten to the questions that I saw right away. How to relax hands, especially picking hands, while playing in front of others, relieving unnecessary tension. Galaxy Light. It's all in your head. What I mean by that is it's not so much your hands as it is your head. So Galaxy Light, what you need to do first is this is what I did, because I used to be very, very nervous, and I still am. I still get nervous playing in front of others. I mean, going live in front of hundreds of people, you make a mistake, which I did several times today, it's there. And for me, it makes me feel a little bit nervous, but that's because I want to do well. And I think your heart's in the right place, Galaxy. You want to do well. So you're saying, hey, I want to do well. But here's the deal. The difference between, so I teach so much. If I would practice more, it would be less mistakes. Same thing with you, everybody. So the first thing that you can do to relieving unnecessary tension is you can practice your butt off. Because when you know that you're able to do things, when you know you're so good at a particular something, you build confidence, okay? This isn't like something we're just grabbing out of the air saying, oh, I'm confident now. No, you get confident by working your butt off and becoming a great player, okay? Any player in the beginning is not going to sound good. From all the greats, they're just not going to sound good. But as they got better and better, they start building more confidence, right? That's the first thing that you can do. The second thing you could do that I found is very helpful, once you've practiced and now you're going on stage or whatever, is you say, what would happen if I messed up? Okay? Is anybody going to die? No. Is the band going to explode? No. Is my amp going to explode? No. So it's not like brain surgery. It's not like if I slip doing brain surgery, I'm going to really seriously hurt somebody. If I mess up, break a string, trip on stage, anything like that, everybody's going to be fine. Nothing bad's going to happen. So tell yourself that over and over and over until you believe it, until you finally believe it, because it's true. So don't worry about messing up, okay? Messing up is to be a being, to be a sentient, live being. If you're not messing up, you're a robot, okay? So don't worry about messing up. Totally okay. Okay, now I'm going back to the top here. On YouTube, it's really impressive. I have little time to practice, but want to practice. That's everybody. How much time should I give time a day? Okay, that's a great question, and I'll answer this. You guys have heard me say this before. If you want to be mediocre, okay, if your goal is to be mediocre and to just kind of get by, then practice for just a little bit amount of time a day. You know, don't kill yourself. You got video games and crap TV to watch and stuff like that. So do that, okay? If you're totally fine with being mediocre, if you're totally fine, if you're just like, mediocre is pushing the limit. I really just want to barely get by, okay? Then don't practice that much. Just kind of whenever you feel like it, do it. And then don't feel guilty about it. But if you want to be an excellent player, then practice excellently. Put time in. Don't be afraid. Your fingers hurt. Everybody's fingers hurt. It's not like you're at war or in a concentration camp. Your teeny tiny tips of your fingers hurt. It's not a big deal. It sounds like I'm making fun of you. I am. I'm making fun of me. I'm making fun of all of us because we've all done it. Oh, my fingers hurt. How bad does it hurt? Okay? It's not like a stick in the eye, okay? It's a little bit sore. You'll get over it. You're a big boy, big girl. You'll get over it, okay? So, I'm encouraging you. I'm not making fun of you. I'm encouraging you, okay? So, spend as much time a day as how good you want to be. My wife always says this all the time. We do what it is we want to do. So if we're using excuses like this, that, or the other thing, that's why I can't play guitar, well, you're doing what you want to do. Maybe that is going to a job and paying bills and you're with your kid. I understand that, but that's still what you want to do. No, there's no judgment in that. But if you want to play more guitar, you got to find out, and I do this all the time in my life, what am I doing that's wasting time? Boom. Is it that I'm watching TV? Am I spending too much time waking up or too much time going to bed or whatever? And you cut into that time. You say, I'm going to take that time back and I'm going to practice guitar there. So be passionate about it, okay? Why are Gibson guitars so much heavier than Fenders? They weigh a ton. Lee, this one does not at all. This is not. Now, the 60s and 70s Gibson Les Pauls, they did weigh a lot. But earlier than that, those models did not weigh a lot. All the Gibsons that I have do not weigh a lot. So it depends on which ones that you buy. Okay. Great question. Do these chord shapes that you have gone over correlate to those taught in your Saturday live webcast and giveaway that you did 2 or 3 months ago? Timothy, probably so. Chord shapes are chord shapes, and they just don't change unless you're doing alternate tunings, and then, of course, everything changes, okay? So, yeah, chances are those are the same chord shapes that other guitar teachers are teaching, because there's only so many chord shapes, okay? So, yes, indeed, different or same ones. Okay, great. Man, you guys got great questions today. I just started learning finger picking. Started with a few bars of Dust in the Wind. Have you any first-time songs to learn? That's Dust in the Wind, and that's a great one to start. I'd say that start off with that one. Stacy, another one is what's the name of that group? It's coming to me. It's coming to me. It's something like I want to marry you. Oh, Train. On YouTube, just type in Train Mary, and they have a song called I Want to Marry You or something like that. And I taught the lesson on it, and it's very similar to Dust in the Wind. That'd be a great next one to do. I love that one. Another one that you could learn is Kids by MGMT. I did my own rendition for that, and that's up on YouTube. Just search YourGuitarSage Kids, and you're going to see 1, a performance, and then 2, a lesson on it. Okay, those are 3 great ones that you're going to have a lot of fun with. I have some issues with posture. I normally play classical posture, but it's hard to play like you. Can you give me some tips? Guillermo is saying. Guillermo, yes. Great question. Some tips on how to play like this. It takes time, number 1. When you're playing in the classical position, which is like this, you've got 3 points of contact with the guitar. Left and right thigh and your chest, okay? Your torso. And it makes the guitar a lot more stable, or 4 if you want to count your arm here, okay? So, but when you're like this, really, you have 2. You've got your thigh and your chest and or your arm. So it's either 2 or 3 or 3 or 4, but you've got 1 less when you're doing the traditional folk position, okay? Now, in the traditional folk position, your guitar is a little bit more flimsy. So for beginners, I would not suggest, well, I don't want to not suggest it, but I just want you, I guess I'm saying maybe use a strap, make sure that it's, that it's tight enough to where you can rest it on your leg and it's still not going to go anywhere. That'd be a great thing for you to do, because you can play in this position for a long period of time. But it'll keep you from wrapping your thumb over the top of the neck, which for beginners is not good. Later on, as you get to playing more, it's not a problem, but in the beginning, it's not good. I'm a beginner. Jimmy is saying, I'm a beginner. Practice to your courses and try short riffs off the internet just to get some accuracy in picking. Is that cool? Yes, indeed. That's excellent. Or is there a better way? Is it fun learning new riffs? Jimmy, that's a great way to do it. Indeed. There's so many different ways to do it. It would be a very long explanation, but yeah, there's so many different ways, and that would be great. Tarek is saying, Eric, please, should I remember every note and chord in every scale and the order of them? And when the player plays a song, should he understand and analyze every note in the scale? Tarek, I would say the way that you asked that question, I'd say no, because it sounds like you are a very smart, mathematical, analytical type person, which is fabulous. We love that. But when it comes to music, we're kind of using the other side of our brain. It's more art, it's more emotion, it's more the heart itself. And like literally, scientifically, they've proven that there are all sorts of neurons in the heart, and that the heart is actually very smart, very similar to the brain, and it knows stuff sometimes before the heart does. For more information on that, just search the Heart Brain Institute online, and they'll give you a slew of information. Anyhow, with that being said, no, do not do that. And here's why. It gets in the way, number 1, of your creativity, and number 2, you've got to learn things when you need them. I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes I won't look into a manual, like a manual for a piece of equipment or whatever, until I need to. I just kind of do it intuitively, and then when I need the manual, I'll do that. Reason being is there's so much information in there, I could be having fun getting into that new piece of equipment that I've got, instead of poring over something and every single note or every single word in that manual. It's not the way to do it, okay? So I tell you, I would learn pentatonic, and I would learn major scale. Major scales covered in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, links in the description of the video. And I would learn pentatonic. That's also in the Unstoppable system. You can get that for $1 today for 30 days. YourGuitarSage.com/1. All these links that I'm giving you are in the description of the video. Cool? What is the most common strumming pattern? Is it down, down, up, up, down, up? I don't talk like that, Rahan, as far as down, down, up. I know people do, but it doesn't give all the information that one needs. The way that I teach strumming is definitely going to tell you, because down, down, up, that doesn't tell you some information. Okay, it only tells you which way you're moving your hand, but it doesn't say when you're going to be doing that. So, using my method that I teach in the free course, you'll understand this strumming rhythm. Okay, and the way we count it, the strums are down on the numbers and up on the and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So, for instance, sorry, I need to move this microphone, just adjust it a little bit because that's bothering me. Okay, so that threw me off there. I apologize. So, in let's see, this down, down, up, up, down, up, down, down, up, up, down, up. That's how probably that is to be interpreted, as what is how I've seen that before. However, I just know that from experience. That doesn't give us all the information that we need. So, what I would call this is 1, 2, and 4 and. Okay, if that seems foreign to you, check out the strumming video in the free course that's in the description of the vid, /30. What Galaxy Light? What is inversion of a chord? Great question. An inversion is just what it sounds like. We're inverting something. Okay, in the case of a chord, what we're doing is we're inverting what the lowest note is. 9 times out of 10, the lowest note in a chord is the letter name of the chord. So in the case of a G chord, you got a G in the bass. In the case of a G minor, you got a G in the bass. In the case of a G7, you got a G in the bass. In the case of a G13, you got a G in the bass. Okay? But what an inversion is doing is saying, okay, it's still a G chord, but let's throw some other note from the chord into the bass instead of the letter name of the chord. So, for instance, here's a G major chord. That's a G, no inversion. But if I lift my second finger up, and now the lowest note's a B, which is one of the notes in the chord, G, B, D. Now, that's still a G chord, but it's a G/B, also known as an inversion. The G represents the chord, and the B represents the lowest note that's played. As opposed to, if I wanted to do a G/D, it would sound like this. In a regular G. G/D. Make sense? All right, great questions. Great questions, my friends. All right, things are moving a little quick, so I'm going all the way to the bit here. If I tune my guitar a half step lower, do all the chords and shapes stay the same, or do they change? If you move, Celeste, if you move your guitar a half step lower, then everything goes down a half step. So, if this was an F, right, you've moved it down a half step. Or I should say, if this was an E, you've moved everything down a half step. So the F is now in the position of the E. So now this would be an F major chord. Okay? If this were a G, now it would be a G flat. Okay? Because you've moved everything down in pitch, so it would be flat. Make sense? All right. Great question. Does playing the note at the fret 2 strings below the root turn a regular chord into a 7th chord? Bam! Matthew is paying attention. Yes, Matthew. And in fact, I have a video for this on YouTube. If you learn that one little tweak, you can literally double your chord vocabulary. Double your chord vocabulary by just finding out where that octave is, drop it down a whole step, and you're going to have a 7th chord. Minor 7th, major 7th, 7th chord, whatever. Okay? Great. Good. Paying attention. Love it. Rod saying, I find myself using a C add 9 quite a bit. When I move my pointer and index up one string, what is that chord? A folk G? Okay, so you're saying I find myself using a C add 9 quite a bit. When I move my pointer, index, and index, those are the same thing, up one string, what is it called? A folk G? It's just a G chord. Rod. So I think you mean your second and first finger going up like that, right? So that's what we're doing. Literally, I'm just taking those two notes and moving them down one string, okay? That's what that is. Our guitar effects processors taking over from foot pedals. They are the same thing, basically. It's just that guitar effects processors are pedals, and then they can also be rack gear and that sort of thing. So it's just, those two terms are synonymous. Can you explain your playback setup with the Friedman monitor you have on the floor? Shad is saying. Yeah, great question, Shad. So right now I am plugged I'm plugged into, by the way, you can see this. This is, I should have told you about this. This is the part 2. I told you guys I was working on a new pedal with Chordtronics, and it's going to be basically 2 overdrives in one that's perfect for Stratocasters and single coil pickups. That's what I was using earlier when you heard that nice bite to my lead. That was this pedal right here. And then one that's great for humbuckers. Typically, you're going to need a pedal for both of those guitars that sound differently because they just don't react the same way. And so I thought, well, let's put that into the same pedal using some of the influences of some great pedals from the past and then tweaking it, creating our own bits, and putting it into one pedal. That's the model that we're working on right now, and this is the other side of it. Okay, so these are stacked single coils, which still is going to get you a similar sound. Anyhow, with that being said, today I'm plugged into that because I've been experimenting with this and coming up with great tones. Love it. I'm in love with it. And then that's going straight into my Kemper. I have a Kemper profiling amp among other amps that I've got here, but that's the one I'm using right now and I love. That's plugging straight into my Friedman, which is acting as a monitor, and then there is a line out directly from the Friedman into my recorder, which is then going from the recording into the console room where Chris is at, and then you guys are getting it via some crazy waves that I still don't understand how it works. But that's how I'm doing that with a Friedman, and I love that Friedman. If you have any sort of processing like a Line 6 gear or any profiling type of amplifier, I highly recommend that. I'm so in love with that. It's very, very expensive. Very expensive pedal. Speaker. It's not cheap. All right, I know you've mentioned this before, but I've forgotten. Sorry. What is your pick recommendation again, and why? Jerry, it depends. For newbies, I would say use a nice thin pick. There's one that I love that's called Snarling Dogs. That's the name of the company. Snarling Dogs Brain Picks, B-R-A-I-N, Brain Picks, and they're different thicknesses, right? But they have this grip on them that make them fantastic, and they don't want to rip out of your hands like traditional picks will. So I love those. But then another pick that I really love are these Dragon's Heart picks because they kind of have this, I don't know if you can see that or not. Let's get that down. So see how that shape is? I've got 3 different places that I can use that. If I want kind of a sharper tip, I would use, let's see where you can see that. I would use that end. If I wanted a traditional pick, I would use this end. And if I wanted something warmer sounding, I would use that end. Okay, so it's got the traditional, it's got a sharper one, and then it's got a kind of a rounder end. And so what that does is, as I'm playing, if I want to get different tones from my pick, I can do that really easily. So it's actually so smart, so very smart of Dragon's Heart picks. So check those guys out. They are they've got some amazing picks. Get some thin ones, get some thick ones. Okay, so they have some of those thin ones as well. Okay, and use the thinner picks for strumming. Use the thicker picks for melodies. Okay. I don't have any lessons by the group Tool. I'm sorry, Bobby. Never got into those guys, but I need to because all my friends that listen to all the other stuff that I listen to, like Faith No More and Ozzy and all those guys, they love Tool. So I would probably love them. Just never got the chance to check them out. Okay, Eric, in the PDF, I got confused on how to read the tab regarding the dexterity exercises. Can you please go over that for us on a short bus riders? Yes, Scott. So, friends, looking over at the PDF, I'm pulling it up right now. What PDF, Eric? What are you talking about? The one that you can find in the description of the video on Facebook and YouTube. Go there right now, download that, and we're going to go to page, including the cover, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th page. 6th page, in the middle, dexterity exercise number 1. You see there it says exercise number 1, and I give you all sorts of variations on this, literally giving you like a ton of different variations. You'll see at the bottom. But anyhow, the 1, 2, 3, 4 are the frets, not the fingers. But in this case, they'll coincide with the fingers. And when you see the very top string, that means the very top in pitch. And the reason being is it matches with musical notation. I know the first time I looked at musical notation or tablature, I said the same thing as you. Well, wouldn't that be the top string? No, it's not. It's the top string in pitch, okay? Not the top string in proximity. Okay, and that makes sense because it's higher in pitch, and when we're looking at musical notation, higher it is on the staff, the higher pitch it is. Makes sense, right? So just that's how you remember this, okay, is that the higher lines are higher strings, higher in pitch. So that's how we're doing that exercise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Take your time. Don't play it fast like I did. Take your time. Go nice and slow. It's all about accuracy, not about speed. Speed is a byproduct. It begets accuracy. You can never be fast before you can be accurate. You can always be accurate before you're fast. But if you're accurate, fast happens. But if you're worried about fast, if you're trying to get it all the time, you're just going to be frustrated. Focus on accuracy. It's something that you can do immediately. You can't do speed immediately, but you can do accuracy immediately, and it's going to get you both the things that you're wanting to do. Do I book private lessons? If so, how? David, you could email me at eric@YourGuitarSage.com. I do private lessons. They're expensive, okay? Reason being is here I can reach hundreds of people, thousands of people all at once, whereas when I'm one-on-one, I can only reach one person at a time, and it's not as effective. And I can't give out as much as I mean, if you're private lessons, yes, you're going to be getting my one-on-one attention. But I can reach a lot more people this way. That's why I try not to do private lessons anymore. I used to do 70-something a week, and then started doing more things online, and I can reach a lot more people that way. So, David, you could do that. Reach out if you really want to do that, and we can talk. Do you have any advices to improve the rhythm to improvisation and soloing in general? Do you have any advice? Really, that's a real broad question, Adeline, and it really has to do with practice. I mean, there's just, how do you improve it? You do it more. You could work with a metronome. I talk all about that inside UGS. If you want to check that out, it's not in the free course. I do probably have a video or two on YouTube. Whenever you're searching for something like this, just type in Your Guitar Sage metronome, Your Guitar Sage Elvis, Your Guitar Sage major scale, Your Guitar Sage chords, whatever you're looking for. Do that and you'll get my lessons. However, when it comes to improvisation and soloing and being, advanced to improve your rhythm, which your rhythm and your timing, it's working with a metronome. And I have a whole course on that inside my super course, UGS. All of that you can get today, nearly 1,000 videos. You can test drive that for 30 days for $1. Links in the description of the video. It's YourGuitarSage.com/1. And that's how to do it. But really, practice is going to get you there. Okay? Okay. Sorry, I numbered my fingers, forgot index, pointer, blah. I feel like an idiot. No, you're fine. You're fine, Rod. Hey, man, love your stuff. What is the benefit of the truss rod adjustment? How often would you take it to a professional to be done? Jeff is saying. Jeff, great question. I would at least do it one time. So a truss rod, my friends, is a steel rod that runs down the center of electric guitars and steel string acoustics. Usually not in classical guitars. Sometimes you'll find it, but it's rare. And that's because of the tension that's on the neck. It reinforces the neck, keeps it from breaking easier. Also, it allows for adjustments on the neck to tweak the action of the strings. I could do it. I used to do it on some of my guitars. That's when I had a lot more time to mess around and mess up and fix. I don't have that time anymore, so I always take it to a professional. And usually, for me, I do it one time. Now, guys in town here that are session players, that are playing all the time, I've known some of those guys to do that twice a year because they're doing that with the adjustment of humidity and the seasons and that sort of thing. Okay, so if you want to go overboard, you could do that. Or not overboard, it just depends on how much money you have and how many times you want your guitars to go away. I've got lots of guitars, so it would be ridiculous for me to do that. I'd need like an in-house guy doing that all the time. But in my opinion, my playing is not to the level that has to be that. For guitar players that are practicing all the time, playing all the time, why don't you do that, Eric? Because I'm teaching. Okay, but if I were not teaching and if I were practicing all the time, then the margin of error you can bring down by doing stuff like that. Okay. Okay, great questions. Marshall Code 50 or Boss Katana 50, which is better? Rahan, again, whenever you're saying better, it's whenever you're talking about equipment and music and stuff like that, it's rare that there's ever going to be a better. Because really it comes down to taste. I could take the worst band in the world. My brother follows this band around all the time. I won't mention their name. They're actually an okay band, but they travel all the time, and he's just in love with them. And if I said, hey, that band or the Beatles, which one's better? He'd by far say this garage band all the live long day. And I think most of us would say that the Beatles were better. So even then, we've got different opinions, okay? However, I actually have the Boss Katana, and in fact, the winner of this guitar on Saturday is also going to get a Boss Katana 50 amp. I forgot to mention that. We give away so much stuff anymore, I forget. So they're going to win that as well, the Boss Katana, as well as those pickups and everything else, or as well, I should say pedals, okay? So I don't know the Marshall Code 50, but the Boss Katana 50 is an awesome little amp, and it's a little over $200. The sound is a little low. Are you saying, yeah, my voice is a little low? Let me turn it up a little bit. How about that? Is that better? I kind of figured it was, because let's try that. Let's try that. Better. Let me know if that fixes things. How to mute unwanted strings ringing while bending and releasing. Some use index fingers to mute, some use the palm. Tips for creating clean bends and release. Galaxy Light. Galaxy, there's really so many different ways to do this, okay? There really is. But one of my favorite ways to do this is to what I call fat finger the strings. And it goes like this. So if, let's say I'm playing a lead here, okay? Now notice I'm playing one fret, one note. I'm not doing this. Because number one, my vibrato is going to feel weird. I'm not connected to the guitar. This is like a fist bump to the guitar or an elbow bump. This is like a nice big hug to the guitar. Okay, so we're getting handsy with the guitar. Okay, we're letting our fingers lay all over the strings that we don't use. And as well, I'm fat fingering, which means I'm not playing like this, like maybe how I play my scales. What I'm doing is I'm using not so much the tip, but a little bit more of my pad. And this is something that you can do when you're playing lead guitar, okay? And what that does is it allows the second string and the first string to be muted while I'm playing that guy right there. So if I hit all three strings, we only hear the first string sounding. So that's what I call fat fingering. And that will help with that. But bottom line is practice, and it is as practice, but then also observing, going, well, now how can I mute that? Oh, I could use this finger, I could use this one. But you can see that my other fingers were all over the other strings, like my first finger. Not all the time, but a lot of times. Is stacked single coils like a P90? So here's the deal. So these are actually P100s in this guitar. After speaking with Michael Spriggs, the Nashville session guitar player, I called him the other day and I said, dude, we're selling your guitar. Or actually, I emailed him and then he called me and said, hey, I want to know more about what you're doing. And we had a great conversation. Fantastic guitar player. And in fact, I'm going to have him on the show at some point here soon. And he told me that these are actually P100s, and this is how it goes. P90s are overwound single coils, if I understand this correctly. If you know more about pickups than me, then please say something. But my understanding is a P90 is a single coil pickup, just like the Strat, right? Those single coils. But the magnet's bigger, obviously, because you can see that big soapbox, and so there are more winds on it, and that's why it has that growl that a single coil pickup just doesn't have, like the Strat pickup. They just don't have them. With that being said, a P100 is a double stacked. So what they do is they take a single coil, they take a P90 and they wrap it, and then underneath it, going down the guitar, instead of this way, going down into it, there's another stacked P90, which gives it that nice big, this guitar, I won't even go into a demo for you because I have lots of videos going up on social right now. But indeed, that will give you the sound, that nice big fat sound, okay? Okay. Can you recommend a good looper pedal? Yes, I have two of them. I got three of them actually. The TC Electronic Ditto. It's my favorite. It's super small. It gets the job done. It's just what you need. I think it does like up to 2.5 minutes, and it's fantastic. I love that. I love that pedal. Okay, if I switch my pickups on my Epiphone to Gibson's, will it sound better? Yeah, Chris, it might sound a little bit better, but probably not for the amount of money that you're going to be spending. I would save my money, get a Gibson when it's time, but make sure you fall in love with that Gibson. For those of you that are questioning, like, do you have the right guitar? Is it right? This, that, or the other thing. Watch videos 1 and video 2 of the free program that I'm giving to you today. In the description of the video, YourGuitarSage.com/30. It's free. Seriously free. You don't pay anything. Top 30 lessons of all times that I teach. And in there, the first two videos, I talk about how to pick an electric guitar and how to pick an acoustic guitar, even if you don't know anything about guitars, the things to look out for, okay? And one of those things is not being obsessed with the brand name. The brand names, brand names are brand names because they have a reputation, right? So typically we can go on those, but not all the time. So you don't want to buy, I've bought Les Pauls that were absolute crap, lemons. In fact, there was an auction that I went to where I bought 2 Les Pauls and a Les Paul, an Epiphone Les Paul, because they were somewhat on sale, pretty good on sale. And then and I bought all 3 of those. And when I brought them home, really started playing them, I fell in love with the Epiphone Les Paul, a cheaper brand, than the Gibson Les Pauls, and I turned around and flipped the Gibson Les Pauls because they just were not playing like that Epiphone was. I'm in a zero humidity yeah, okay, I answered that right. That Boss RC30 is a great one too, Lee said, and it is. I'm in a zero humidity environment, Jeff Bridges says on YouTube. So I'd assume it shifts more often than with humidity. Jeff is saying, Jeff, if you have even electric guitars, if you have zero humidity, you need to run to the store and buy some humidifiers and close off the room that you have that guitar in. If you can close it off and keep that humidifier cranked because your guitar needs humidity, especially acoustic guitars. I've seen $20,000 guitars get completely ruined because someone kept them in a zero humidity environment, and it will kill an acoustic guitar in a year or 2. Don't do it, okay? What happens is all the moisture from the wood leaves, and then just things start breaking down. I've seen the bridge rip straight off of very expensive guitars. It's sad. We don't want that. We don't want that. I have a Fender Mustang, mainly for Nirvana. They say I should put a Seymour Duncan humbucker, would this make much difference in tone? Number one, who are they, Lee? Seymour Duncan is just a brand name. So Seymour Duncan makes great stuff. One of my favorite pickups is a Seymour Duncan Jeff Beck. But Seymour Duncan is like saying, I don't know, Dunkin' Donuts. There are many different donuts at Dunkin' Donuts. And so you may not like a particular one, but you may like another. So I wouldn't worry about what they say. What I would do is I would drill down to find out what equipment it was that Kurt Cobain was using, right? He was using a Fender Mustang. And what was he using, a Seymour Duncan humbucker? I doubt it. I think he was probably using the original pickups. And then find out what kind of amp he was using and that sort of thing. If you're going for that sound, you want to mimic whatever it is your hero's done. If you want to get that sound, just do exactly what they do, and it's going to be a lot better, you know. Kind of weird question, Nitro. I don't know what that means. If that was for me, John, let me know. Okay, it was actually dexterity exercise number 3 that confused me more. Could you do a demo for that one, please? Yes, let's do that. Okay, so dexterity exercise number 3 is a stretching exercise. It's included in this PDF that I'm giving you. And here it goes. It goes like this. You're going to set your fingers up like a set of stairs on strings 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. With the opposite fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then what you're going to do, this is how you're going to practice. It's difficult at first, okay? If you have difficulty with it, you're alive. That's the only thing that means. You're alive. It doesn't mean that you suck, got big fingers, got small hands, anything like that. It's something you're going to have to practice. Everybody does. Everybody will. From the beginning to the end of time, amen. Okay, so here you go. So you're just going to arpeggio through it like this. You can use fingers or pick, doesn't matter. So I'm going to go. I'm doing down on the first 4 and up on the last 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And actually, it's 6. We're going 4 down and 2 up. And then we start it over again. But when we start it over again this time, we move one finger back, the first finger. Boom. And then you play that same thing again. This is where you're going to develop some stretch. And then move the second finger back. Leave a space in between the two. And then move the third finger down. Space between the two. And it's not going to sound very pretty, but it's going to look like this. Oops. Make sense? As you start getting down to these further frets, it becomes wider and wider, and it really stretches your hand. If you have your thumb up here, you won't do it. If you have your thumb here, you won't do it. Here. You need it to be way down here so you really get your hand out front, tuck that elbow in a little bit, and it's going to be that's going to make a lot more sense for you. That's exercise number 3. It's included in the PDF that I'm giving you, description of the video. Cool? What do I need to learn to use the loop pedal and be a percussion player, please? Learn percussion separately, and then learn your looper pedal, which is not hard at all. That's something you're going to have to work with, okay? That's not an easy one to answer. I mean, percussion, I'd say find a teacher, find somebody online who's teaching you that. And as far as a looper pedal, you kick the looper on when your loop begins, you stomp it off when your loop ends. That's it. And that requires some timing. I have trouble fretting the second and first string while playing bar chords. ? Okay, so, and what you need to do is either watch the 2 videos that I have included in the PDF or watch the whole video yesterday where I'm teaching you how to break that chord down. Another video that you could watch, and the reason I'm not telling you right now, Ann, is it would literally be a 20-minute answer. Watch those videos. Write this down, effing F chord, E-F-F-I-N-G. F chord. Watch that on YouTube. Better yet, anybody having problems with any sort of fretting or picking or strumming, download that free program that I have for you. It's not downloadable. That's actually just online. You can do it with mobile too. YourGuitarSage.com/30. My friends, you hear me say it a lot. There's a reason. Number one, it's free. Number two, it's the top 30 lessons that I teach all my students. If you visited me here in Nashville, it'd cost about $1,000 to do it, and I'm giving it to you for free today. But if you sat in front of me and we did the same lessons, that's how much it would cost. And because it's going to teach you all those bits and pieces in a lot of detail, okay? Great question, Ann. Okay. McPherson, no truss rod. Told they're phenomenal. Nope. Not for me. McPherson's don't have truss rods. Well, I didn't know about that. The Rolling Stones? Question mark. Is that a question? My low E string tends to buzz if I let any note below the 10th fret ring out. Is that an action issue? It can be an action issue. Well, it's definitely an action issue, but it is several things it could be. It could be your bridge, nut, frets, truss rod, 4 things off the top of my head. Bring it to a guitar luthier where they can tell you exactly. Otherwise, you're going to be shooting in the dark and adjusting stuff and messing stuff up. Okay, the Reaper. I've just purchased an Epiphone 60s Tribute Plus top. Is this going to give me the classic Gibson tone? And what amps, pedals do I need to achieve that sound? The Reaper. You need a good overdrive pedal. I would suggest this pedal that I'm going to come out with yet, but it's not out today. So I would suggest getting an OCD by Full Tone. That's a great one. And getting, and all these are in my store, by the way. Anybody who has any questions about pedals, amps, guitars, this, that, the other thing, picks, capos, all, it's kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Go there, check that out, and you can see all this stuff that I'm talking about. Okay, there's the link for you right there. And a nice tube amp will do. Okay, Fender Blues Junior will be great. If you're wanting a British sound, then a nice Vox, nice tube Vox will do. But we're getting in some money there. Okay, all those. How do I get in on giveaway? And do I have to be in the U.S. to enter? Chris, our last winner was actually in the UK. To get in on the giveaway, you're going to go to the link that's in the description of the video that says live, YourGuitarSage.com/live. What giveaway are you talking about, Eric? Saturday, August 25th. 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. I'll be giving away over $6,000 worth of amazing goodies, including this beautiful 1993 Gibson Les Paul Special, along with a suite. I think there's 4 Dan Electro pedals. I'll be giving away a Katana, a 50 amp, tuner capo picks, a t-shirt, all that great stuff, along with lifetime membership to Unstoppable Guitar System, lifetime membership to 365 Guitar Plan, and I'll be giving, I believe, 10 lifetime memberships to UGS/365. So that's the giveaway we're talking about. That's on Saturday. You don't have to be there to win, okay? But I want you there because you're going to learn a ton of stuff. And who knows? I might even throw a surprise out there too. I may even give something else away. Who knows? I do that on occasion. But $6,000 worth of stuff. The only thing you got to do is go to YourGuitarSage.com/live. Register. Takes 2 seconds and you're done. Everything's done. Okay. When playing Wonderwall, you're constantly fretting the high E and B strings through the whole song. I noticed Joel Gallagher does that a lot, question mark. Don't go away, the fret, the B string, how do you come up with something like that? How do I incorporate that into my own songwriting? I don't go... Mark, you're going to have to rephrase that, please, because I don't know what you're talking about there. If you're saying, how do you incorporate it into your playing, you incorporate it into your playing. So, for instance, I played in a group with a guy that when he played a G chord, he played it like this. Okay? Played it like that. When he played a D chord, he played it like this. When he played an E minor chord, he played it like this. When he played a C chord, he played it like this. And an A minor, he played it like this. He just kept those fingers there the whole time on the second and third, or third and fourth finger. So that is one way you can do it. So how do you incorporate it? You incorporate it. Stick it in there. Okay. Yeah, Rod's saying this has way too much push for P90s. You are indeed correct, sir. It does. I was like, when I played this guitar for the first time, I mean, here, let me just give you a sample of this. You know? And I know I'm blaring. Clipping. We're clipping. I apologize. Okay, let me turn this way. Thanks, Chris. Sorry about that, friends. I won't keep going with that just in case we're clipping there. I apologize. I'm going to need to work on those levels. But nonetheless, this guitar rages like it's got a couple humbuckers in there when it wants to be, and then I just turn it back for that P90 sound, you know. Sorry if anybody asked this question before, but what are some good ways to help relieve carpal tunnel syndrome like a brace? Love your videos. Thank you. Learning guitar. Okay, so here's the deal. I have 2 videos for this, a part 1 and a part 2 that are on YouTube. Search YourGuitarSage Carpal. YourGuitarSage Carpal. But I can tell you off the top of my head, here's some of the things that you can do. I've never had carpal tunnel, but one of my students many years later developed it. He had poor technique. He's a massively amazing singer. Love him. I love his attitude. He actually used to work for me. Amazing guy. Great band, great performer, everything else. But man, when he played guitar, he was just kind of like, just not using good technique at all. And in time, that caught up with him, and he developed really bad carpal tunnel, literally stopped playing guitar on stage. He had to just sing. So we actually did a video, and in that video on YouTube, if you search YourGuitarSage Carpal, you'll see the 2-part series with me and Jay. And so the first part is like what to look out for, I believe, and the second part is the exercises. So some of the exercises he said is to literally take your fingers and stretch them out like this. I think he said maybe like a minute or so on each hand. And what that does is it physically tells your body you need to stretch those areas, you need to be cool, don't be giving out on me, okay? That's what you need to do on both of those hands. I think he said you could do it this way as well, but this way is pretty important. There's some more exercises in there. Don't lay on your arms. You need to make sure that you get lots of blood flow to your arms, so people that he was sleeping on his arms and stuff like that too, and waking up with numb arms and all that stuff, okay? Any suggestions on sources for free sheet music? Yes, Ultimate Guitar. Ultimate-guitar.com has all sorts of chords, tablatures. I've got a gazillion lessons on there. So, yes. And someone transcribed my version of Kids, MGMT, and that's on there as well. I think it's acoustic version 2. Okay. Ooh, oh, this thing jumps sometimes. Okay, I'm bumping back over to Facebook here real quick just because I do not want my friends there to feel abandoned, okay? All right, make sure you're putting question marks too, okay? Okay, thanks for that link, Scott. Okay, Eric, I already own your course. Thought when I entered my name and email for the giveaway that I might receive an email in reply. After all, no, Terry, I believe that when you go through, because I did this process yesterday, you just enter it and then you get the PDF right away. So I did not receive an email, okay? If the bonus videos are showing up on my list, does that mean I'm registered for Saturday? I've got a confirmation email. Ha! after I just said that. Well, I did not receive a confirmation email. I promise you I didn't. I don't think I did. Let me look. No, I didn't receive a confirmation email. What you talking about? Maybe you did. Yeah, if those, well, it depends. Dwayne, if you're signed up for UGS already, then everything that I put out you get for free. Okay, at least an hour of content every single month, not including two live broadcasts. Okay, so with that being said, you're going to get it if you're in UGS. Otherwise, if it's showing up now and you're not in UGS, then yes, that means you're in there already. I broke my fingers on my fretting hand and they healed in a way that makes it difficult to play now. Any advice? Kyle, yes. This hand was nearly ripped off by, or at least this phalange was nearly ripped off by a 150-pound Rottweiler 40 stitches later. I've had arthritis. You can see, let's see if I can show you this. I used to have massive arthritis. You can see this finger, how it's deformed and all messed up. Same thing with my thumb. It's like fat and what have you. This pinky's messed up. Other fingers on this hand are messed up as well. Because I've been bitten by two dogs. I'm a big animal fan, and I get too close to them sometimes. And also arthritis. Used to have bad arthritis when I was eating meat and dairy and wheat and all that stuff. Don't do that anymore. Don't have arthritis anymore, but I have deformed fingers. Now, with that being said, that's very, very, very minor, okay? If you want some encouragement, my friend, type in on YouTube, type in guitar, no hands, and you're going to find a guy playing with his toes. He's got no arms guitar. You're going to find it, okay? So don't worry about your fingers. I mean, honestly, don't worry about them, because how would I know what direction they're going in anyhow? How could I fix that? I'm telling you this to empower you. Don't worry about your fingers. It has nothing to do with your fingers. It really honestly doesn't. It has to do with practice. That's why people with all sorts of deformities and disabilities are able to rock it on guitar, okay? I see guys with hooks on their arm that are able to do this, okay? All right, great question. So just be encouraged. That's a good thing, okay? All right, Corey on Facebook is saying, Eric, my singing instructor uses a Fender Audio Passport Venue. I'm in search of something like it to sing and play through, but it's $1,000. I'd really like it. But it might be a bit much. Any ideas? If you're not familiar, I can message you on my Facebook page. Corey, so get a low-priced mixer that you could get from Sweetwater or Guitar Center or anything like that, and a set of powered monitors. You literally could get by for about under $500, maybe even cheaper. Yeah, definitely cheaper. You could get by for like $350 doing that, okay? Especially if you buy some of the used stuff, okay? Buy some used stuff off of Craigslist. But that is going to do the same thing, essentially. And also, I'd ask, why are you, if you're, are you playing out with this, or are you just playing in your house? Because if so, just play in your house, unless you're like wanting effects and all that good stuff, okay? Eric, I can play all bar chord forms thanks to your lessons. Yes, my thumb aches for days, especially after playing B minor bar chords. Any suggestion? Bill, I would make sure that your guitar is set up properly. Bring it to a guitar luthier or a guitar store where they can look at it and make sure there's nothing wonky with it. You're not going to know that unless you have something to compare it to. So comparing it to other guitars or having somebody there who will tell you, yeah, this is messed up. The action's way too high. Other than that, Bill, it's like saying, hey, I keep going to the gym and my muscles are hurting. Any suggestions? Well, yeah, your muscles are hurting because you're pushing weights. So this is a good thing. It means you're building, you're tearing down muscle, which means you're going to build it up, which means you're going to be stronger in those areas. So you're just still in that stage, Bill. It's one or the other. It's one of those two things. Great question, though. Great question. Okay, still scanning on Facebook here. Okay, good. Here we go. A couple more. Let me look. And then I'm going to bounce back over to YouTube here, okay? Okay, here we go. Bumping over to YouTube. Friends, if you haven't done it already, Instagram folks, hi. We're on Facebook and YouTube answering questions. So if you're wondering why I'm not answering your questions there, that's why. Because I can only look at so many screens at a time, and I have a PDF there for you as well. And if you share this, we can do that on Instagram too. If you share it, we will be looking afterwards and awarding some lucky winner with a lifetime membership to UGS and /365. Cool. All right? Good, good, good. Here we go. So, what did you find about playing acoustic songs with hollow body model guitar? I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. You have to clear that up because I don't know what that means. Hollow body model guitar. In another song, he fret the B string on the first string and the high string on the third string, just like you did, but how do I know what strings and frets I can do that with? Mark, what does your ear tell you? Think about this. If I gave you a canvas and I gave you paint, would you say, well, I don't know if the red's going to go with the blue. I just don't know. So look, and I'm empowering you here for a moment. Everybody listen, this is everybody here. You are an artist. You are a co-creator in life. You can do anything that you want to do if you get off your ass and you put the pieces together to do what it is that you want to do. There's nothing stopping you, okay? So that means you could be the best guitar player that you want to be, the best, sculptor, painter, whatever. But you got to understand first that you have the power, okay? It means you need to be creative and you need to trust yourself and say, well, does that sound good or doesn't it sound good, right? If I play this, something like, even that's doesn't sound bad. What happens if I played this chord? I automatically would say, well, that doesn't sound good, right? That's the artist in you saying it doesn't sound good. But what happens if I played this? If that sounds good, that's the artist in you saying that sounds good. So trust that. That's how you know when to do it. Noel Gallagher, I don't know what his experience is on guitar and music theory and stuff like that, but here, the truth be told, music theory helps, but you don't necessarily need it to write hit songs, okay? My wife writes on a guitar, it's a lefty, and the strings are upside down, and she only uses 5 strings, and it's tuned to an open C minor chord. So she can't play 7th chords and that sort of thing. It's just literally, and you say, well, I can't even believe that. Why didn't she play the guitar right? Because that's not what she cares about. She doesn't care about that, and she writes #1 songs and chart hitting songs in country music and for Disney and this, that, and the other thing. So it's like she doesn't need to do all these things, and she uses her ear to say, this sounds good. Sometimes she knows what she's doing, sometimes she doesn't. But it doesn't matter, because it's like if you paint the Mona Lisa and you don't know how to paint, who cares if you don't know how to paint if you painted the Mona Lisa, right? Or some other beautiful painting. I don't think that one's very pretty, but you know what I'm saying. I have problems in chord shifting. Any help, please? Pravan. Yes, Pranav, I have covered this in many, many, many details. Inside the free course, I cover this. I highly suggest, Pranav, that you learn or that you go through the videos inside that, because there are some essentials that you're missing, #1. And #2, I cover about how to shift those 2 chords, okay? But in a nutshell, which I don't suggest you just going with the nutshell version, I suggest you watching those videos in the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30, links in the description of the video. Then what you need to do is you need to play whatever chord you're shifting from to the chord you're shifting to. And you need to slowly move from one chord to the next. Think about the next chord before you leave this chord. You're on this chord, you're thinking about the next chord, how you're going to finger it, this, that, and the other thing. Don't move yet. Think about it, think about it, think about it, then make the movement. Take as much time as you need to, but the most important thing is, the only thing that you need to think is, what are my fingers going to look like, where they're going to be, etc. Then once you do that, then you make your move. If you don't do that, it's like jumping, it's like you're rock climbing and you're jumping off of one rock onto another rock before you even know where that rock is. You're just jumping and now you're searching. Nope, you're your trajectory is going in one direction, you're not going to be able to change in the air. So don't do that with your chord playing. For more details of that, watch that video in the free program, all right? Maybe you answered this, answered the streams. Maybe you answered, I'm just going to read these the way they sound. Maybe you answered the stream's titler question before I tuned in, but what are the 2 reasons you really need to learn the F chord? Great question, Gage. The 2 reasons are this. It literally opens up the song, your song repertoire more than double, okay? The F chord is used in some songs in the key of G. Now, usually not. In the key of G, we usually have G, D, C, A minor, E minor. Those are the ones we use a lot, okay? Just the open chords. But in the key of C, we have a C, we got an F, and a G, a D minor, A minor, E minor. But so you use that F in the key of C. Usually, with a capo, we can, I say usually, always, we can play those same chords, but with a capo, we can change all the different keys, right? I cover that in the free program if you don't know what I'm talking about. So you can change keys with the capo and use the same chord forms. There'll be different names because we're in a different key. But you can only go up so far before your hands start cramping and before the guitar starts sounding not so much like a guitar anymore. So then what you want to do is you want to play things in the key of C. C and G are the 2 most commonly used keys on guitar, and the easiest ones, luckily enough for us. So with that C form, now we can move up, and the guitar is going to sound like a guitar, and we're not so cramped, okay? That's number 1. Number 2, what we talked about today, Gage, is the 140 new chords that or was it 140? Sorry, I lied. It wasn't 140 new chords, it was 132 new chords that I showed you today. Okay, 132 new chords that I showed you, just from knowing the F chord. If you can't play that F chord, those 132 new chords are off limits for you. Can't play them. If you can play the F chord, you can play these. Chances are you're going to be a lot better at playing at least half of these chords right off the bat. Okay, the other half you're going to have to work at a little bit. So it literally just massively boosts your chord vocabulary by knowing that F, by understanding how to play that F chord. Okay. Great, 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 great. Okay, what are some good ways to memorize string names? I only know one for acoustic guitars. It's the same for electric. EAD, GBE, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie. I cover that in the free course as well. Okay, check that out. Thank you, Byron. What Byron said, exactly. Okay, and Robert, I just answered that one on the F chord, right? So you got that. Cool, cool. All right, I'm backing up here just a little bit, see if because I know I missed a couple here. And then I'll pop back up to the top. I'm lost here. I feel like I'm trying to speak a language that I cannot understand. I thought that I should learn the second, thirds, and fourths, etc. in every scale and modes, but it seems wrong. What should I do? Tarek, I'm telling you exactly what to do. Start with video 1 of the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Oh, I don't want to go there. Well, then I can't help you. I'm trying to teach you an order, the exact order that you need so that you can rock with your socks out, okay? So do that. Start there, and I'll tell you exactly the amount of theory that you need when you need it. Oh, I mentioned this earlier, but I didn't finish my thought, oh, I didn't know. I said about the manual. I don't like to get new information, or I should say it this way. If I need information, let's say I'm looking for a new type of pedal, or a new type of pedal, and then I'm like, I'm going to go investigate this. My mind's going to be so much more open to what people are saying about pedals than if I'm not looking for the pedal. So, Tarek, why do you want to know information that you're not even going to use right now? So don't think about it too mathematically. Learn it the way that I teach it, step by step in the program. It's worked for tens of thousands of students in my program. It should work for you. And it's way over tens of thousands. I mean, on Udemy, I have 100-something thousand, okay? And so do that. They're tried, they're true, they're going to work for you, okay? Look, I made a rhyme. I love my Vox AC15. Highly recommended. It is better to use pedals for reverb and tremolo or use the onboard effects on the Vox. Shad, use your ear. What does it tell you? You're the artist. Okay, good. flying to the top now again of YouTube. Eric, please, is it a good idea to play acoustic guitars songs on a hollow body electric guitar instead? And what is the difference between both of those guitars? Thank you for your answer. Amar, so an acoustic guitar, an acoustic guitar is any guitar really that doesn't need a pickup to be played. So like your standard Dreadnought, this would be an electric. So, you can still hear this, right? But it's very, very quiet. It's not like I could step on stage and someone's going to hear me. And a good acoustic guitar is going to do that. And an electric acoustic, or what we call semi-acoustic, is basically a guitar like this, but the body is hollowed out. And it's really not there to perform out like an acoustic guitar. It's more to give you a certain type of tone, certain type of feel, and that sort of thing. That's the difference between the two. So is it a good idea to play acoustic guitars on a hollow body guitar instead? It's not like, oh my gosh, I stumbled across the best idea in the world. It's just like, yeah, sure, you could do that. That's not a problem. You're not going to break anything, but it's not necessarily anything. It's just playing it on a different guitar, that's all. Cool? Does that make sense? What's the right time to change over to an electric guitar? Right now is the time to change over to an electric guitar. You want to do both. I have as many acoustics as I have electric. It's not like one day you graduate to electric and you don't play acoustic anymore. See Tommy Emmanuel for that. He's a monster and he just plays acoustic. Okay, for the most part. I think I've only seen him on the acoustic. So, but now's the time. The answer is always now, by the way. Always now. Okay, bumping over to Facebook really quickly, and let me see where we're at with time. It's 12:50. Let's do an even 10 minutes today, or an even 2 hours today, okay? And we'll get into this more. Really quickly, while I'm waiting for another question to come up, please share this video right now, friends. If you do, after the broadcast, we scour the internet. We have ways of doing this, and we will pick a winner, okay? A winner that's going to win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System /365 guitar plan, which is a new guitar plan that I've just come up with. This is basically like day-to-day practice. And friends, if you do this, if you win this, I promise you, you're going to be so happy because there's a lifetime of lessons in there for you. And I constantly add new lessons to it all the time, okay? So do that. Make sure you register for that right now, okay? What else? Let me look for a question here. And I'd love to shut this guy up. That's me. I see me talking there. Okay, so let's look for another question. Okay, what does the plus mean on a chord? And it was answered by Kyle. Thank you, Kyle. It's augmented. A plus means augmented. Augmented means to make something bigger, right? Breast augmentation, chord augmentation. We're making something bigger. So in the case of a chord, we're making the fifth bigger, typically. So if we were to say play, then the 5, there's a 5 here. It almost sounds like a, if we wanted to do that, it almost sounds like a diminished chord a little bit, but what we're doing is we're taking the 5 of the chord. If you don't know what that means, because you haven't watched the free course that I'm giving you, you're going to know all this stuff once you go through that. It's 30 lessons. It'll take like a minute, okay? We're taking the 5 of the chord, which is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're taking that note and we're raising it up a half step. That creates an augmented chord. Cool? My internet is in and out. Will this broadcast be available later? Yes, it definitely will. Any advice on working with amputated digits on my fretting fingers? My long and ring fingers have been cut back to the first knuckle. Sean, if you can use them, use them. Otherwise, one of my favorite guitar players and the fastest guitar player I've ever seen is Django Reinhardt. You can look him up online, Django, D-J-A-N-G-O, Django, like Django Unchained, Django Reinhardt. Amazing jazz guitar player who was injured in a fire as he was saving his wife. And these two fingers became curled, gnarled up like that. So when he played with these two fingers. These were kind of available. He could kind of get them up there, but only for chords every now and then. He played with 2 digits. So if you can use those other fingers that are amputated, the tips, then do that. Otherwise, don't worry about it. Just play. Don't let that be an excuse that gets in the way, okay? I know some people are like, God, Eric's harsh. That's terrible. Am I really, or am I empowering you to do it, okay, and not make excuses? That's all I'm saying. Will it be harder? Maybe. Maybe not. You may have more drive in you than the guy who has great fingers and great hands. So that's really what it matters, is the drive and the desire to play. Also, check out the guy. I say it all the time. On YouTube, type guitar, no arms. Do it. Watch this guy play guitar with no arms. When I mean no arms, what I really mean is he's got no arms, okay? No arms at all. He's playing with his feet, okay? So those are little snubby fat things. And if he can do it, you can do it, okay? Okay, great. I'm bopping to the top of Facebook real quick, and I'm going to bump back over to YouTube. Okay. Okay, now, here I am on YouTube, going back a little bit. Okay, we got to that one about the, okay. Esthet is saying, will you teach jazz? Esthet is saying, Esthet, inside of the Unstoppable Guitar System, I teach a little bit of jazz. Why only a little bit, Eric? Because that's not my forte. If you're looking for a great jazz teacher, I am not your guy, okay? If you're looking I can bring you pretty far in jazz, but not as far as an amazing jazz teacher. So if you want to learn anything, probably anything else other than, I know how to play classical, but I don't keep up with it as often as I do my other style. So what I do teach in the program is like folk, campfire guitar, rock guitar, blues. I teach some jazz, some swing, a little bit of rockabilly. So enough to get you by, okay? Where I'm teaching you all the jazz chords that you're going to be using, introducing you to all sorts of jazz standards and that sort of thing. So actually, it depends on who you are and what you're expecting. I teach a lot of jazz, in fact, inside the course. It depends on what you think's a lot of jazz, but it's quite a bit of songs in there, okay? But as John says, he doesn't teach jazz. It's not, I don't tout myself as a jazz player, because jazz is its own thing, and there's some amazing players that will play circles around me in jazz, so I'm not going to insult them, okay? If you're really looking for jazz, find a great jazz teacher. Rocky, I am giving this guitar away on Saturday. If you're not registered already, you need to. Links in the description of the video, YourGuitarSage.com/live. I've only just joined the stream, but do you have any tips for bar chords to make the fingers laying down on the frets? Yeah, for sure, Jagger. We covered all that stuff. So watch part 1, part 2 of this. Make sure you download the PDF. The link's in the description of the video. Download that. Watch the 2-part series that's free on YouTube. But make sure, before you do that you do the free course, because there are some essentials there that if you just go straight to bar chords, you're going to think you're not cut out for guitar, when in fact, what happened is you cut out videos. It's not that you're not cut out for guitar, you cut out videos that you should have watched. Watch that. I'm trying to help you, trying to save you some frustration. Do you have to be on Facebook or here or what to get it? Rocky, you could be on Facebook or YouTube. Doesn't matter. Actually, the only thing you need to do is register and then answer the message, okay, when we send it to you. Case in point, last live broadcast, and it's still sitting in there right now. Remember I was giving away a red Fender Stratocaster? Somebody won that, and we've emailed them and hit them up on social media like 10 million times. Emailed every other day for weeks and weeks now, or a month, however long it's been. Hammered this guy with emails. Never responded. So we're still giving that guitar away to somebody else that was on the list from last time. We're just a couple more days here. We're giving the guy to respond. If he doesn't respond, it's going to somebody else. It's that easy to win. It's that easy to lose if you're not paying attention. Very important to pay attention in these broadcasts and everything that I'm saying, because if not, you're going to lose out. I don't want you to lose out. I want you to gain, okay? Tony Iommi, indeed, had cut digits off, exactly. Any tips for being able to extend scales so that you can play up and down the neck instead of just the first position? Shane, yes. Now, the reason I keep referring to other videos is if I literally answered each one of these questions in a sufficient answer that would give you the information that you need, I'd spend 20 minutes, a half hour on each one of these questions, hence why I can't do that, okay? Now, how to extend it? Yes, watch One Scale, Know Them All. That's on YouTube. Watch the major chord or the major scale videos inside of the free course, YourGuitarSage.com/30. Links in the description of the video. What else? Yeah, know one form, know them all. Basically, that's going to teach you how to take one scale and then be able to move it all around the fretboard in order to literally not have to sit there with a book and do it, but to do it with your own brain because you learned the logic. You've unlocked it. And it's not hard to unlock. It's actually pretty easy, okay? The thing that throws people off is that B string. Rocky, register where? YourGuitarSage.com/live. Link is in the description of the video. How can I confirm my registration for winning the guitar? Felicia's saying, when you do this, Felicia, when you register, you'll get something that'll say, hey, you're registered. That's your confirmation. Cool. Red is my color, Jerry says. All right, bopping back over. Oh, we're done. We're at 1 o'clock, right? All right. I know, Jude. I know you wanted that Fender Strat. Well, you may still win it. If whoever was on that list from last time, we're going to pick somebody else, and we haven't even done it yet. So someone's going to win it, and someone's going to win this one on Saturday. So here's the deal, really quickly, friends. If you haven't already, share this video. Why? Because I'm giving you the opportunity for a lifetime membership to UGS/365, or get in there and spend a lot of money, hundreds of dollars for these programs, okay? I'm giving them away for free. We're giving one away for free. I'm going to be giving 10 away, a minimum of 10, maybe even 11 on Saturday. Whatever the amount is, we're giving at least 10 away, and one grand prize winner is going to win this beautiful 1993 Gibson Les Paul Special, owned by Michael Spriggs, session guitar player for Nashville, and Laser Lloyd, legendary blues guitar player, along with a Katana 50 amp. This is an amp that a lot of people are talking about right now, and a suite of Dan Electro pedals, 4 of them. I've reviewed them. You can find that in my store, kit.com/YourGuitarSage. Those folks will also win a lifetime membership to the Unstoppable Guitar System and UGS and 365, and literally $6,000 worth of goodies. So if you haven't registered for that already, dear Lord, my friends, I'm trying to help you. The only thing I can do is give you the links, tell you to go there. You got to click on them. You got to move through with them. Otherwise, I can't help you beyond that. So click on that. Make sure you register. It's super easy. It takes literally like 2 seconds to register. You'll see a confirmation. Boom, you're in. You will get a confirmation email from me. You will get a confirmation email from me because I give you some bonus videos. So I apologize. When you register, yes, you will get a confirmation email. If those, because I know some of you, have seen you say on here, I didn't get it. You did get it, because if you entered your email in, whatever the email you enter in, our server sends that out to you immediately. If you entered in your email wrong, well, then we're going to send it to that wrong address because we don't know your real email. So you may want to try it again with and make sure that you're not fat fingering your email, and make sure you're putting it in correctly so that we can get you that email, which is going to have several things. It's going to have a link to the PDF. It's going to give you some bonus videos. It's going to tell you about the live broadcast, this, that, and the other thing. So if you didn't receive it, it's probably in your spam, okay? It's not us. We're sending it out. It's not like the computer saying, well, I don't know, Jill shouldn't get it. I don't know. It's getting sent out to Jill. It's getting sent out to you. It's going to your spam, or you entered in your email wrong. So check in your spam, do it again, put us on the safe list, and you're going to be cool. Okay? Anything else? Anything else? I'm trying to think. No, I won't inundate you with anything else. There's tons of stuff that I could tell you, but we're not gonna today. You guys, thank you so much for joining me for these. It really does make my day. I love it. I think it's so cool that in this age we can get online with a camera and talk to hundreds of people. I know I sound like an old timer because I am a little bit. In my days, we didn't get to do this. We had to sit in front of somebody and teach them one-on-one. But now I get to actually talk to thousands of people, hundreds of people at once. How cool is that? So, yay, life is good. Gratitude is good. So be thankful that you're here today. And there's a spider hanging from the ceiling. And what else? I know there's something else I want to tell you. Oh, yes. Thank you so much for the great questions today. Thank you for playing full out. Love you guys. If you haven't already, download the PDF. Get the YourGuitarSage.com/30. Get that free course now, my friends. If you do nothing else, that and register for the live webcast on Saturday, get the free course. It's free. Okay. The only other better way that I could do it is if I paid you to take these free lessons. Okay. That's it, my friends. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much. DT, you don't have big fingers. I got videos for this. It's not your big fingers. Big fingers, small fingers, doesn't matter. It just means you haven't practiced enough. That's all it means, okay? Don't be offended by that. It's just you can fix that by practicing more, following the first 30 videos. Links in the description of the video. YourGuitarSage.com/30. Okay, my friends? I'm out of here. See ya. Thank you.